welcome to World War G. I'm Troy.
Guys, I want you to meet a really good friend of mine. This is Troy.
I'm AJ.
AJ? What kind of name is AJ? Oh, you race cars?
Okay, so before we get to today in geek history, I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
You've been on, I would say, a lot of dates.
One or two.
One or two.
Yeah.
Joey Tribbiani over here.
Right?
So, I was thinking about this today while I was at work. Do you have kind of a crazy date story? Well, while you're thinking of it, I'll tell you the story that came to my mind.
Okay.
That sparked this discussion. So this was one of the first dates I ever went on, and I'll leave the names out because chances are people listening to this will probably know the person I'm talking about.
Okay.
So we go to a dance, and after the dance, because in high school, middle school, especially in high school, a dance, it's not just a dance. It lasts all day.
It's an event.
Yeah, right?
It really is, yeah.
So
much like prom, like these dances are, taken, like you'll do a event beforehand.
You gotta do something in the afternoon.
Right.
Then you go to the dance, and you have something afterwards.
Right.
So this was what we did afterwards, okay? After dance, we all went to this person's house. We were just kind of hanging out. I think we were playing cards or something. And this whole time, I was talking to my date.
Right.
And we'd been on like a couple of dates or before that. And I was talking about how, because she was asking me, what kind of hobbies do you have, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I was like 16 at the time. And I had mentioned like, I took guitar lessons for a little bit. And, it's acoustic guitar, but I'd really like to, play electric guitar.
Right.
And she says, and I shit you not, she says, "Oh, there are different kinds of guitars?" Question mark.
Oh. Wow.
To which I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, I wasn't
Rude about it?
No, I wasn't sarcastic or anything. I just went, yeah. In my mind, I was like,
what the hell?
The fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how naive is this? And so after that, I was like,
That was a deal breaker for you?
It was.
Really?
It was a deal breaker. Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
right.
I needed somebody.
You need some more substance.
Yeah, not so naive. I don't like.
I thought you were gonna say like you played the guitar for her and took her V card or something.
Yeah. Not that time. No. No.
She's like, oh wow, she's really easily confused.
So I was like, yeah, I'll back off from that.
Oh wow. The one that comes to mind, for me is this was years ago. I took this one girl, like I messaged her quite a few times, and then like we eventually said like, hey, yeah, we're gonna meet up, we're gonna plan something, and we had been discussing tacos of all things, and I said no, Taco Bell is way better than Taco Time, and
absolutely,
right? Okay, I didn't even think that was like a debate.
Yeah.
But she was convinced that it wasn't, so then we went and got tacos at both places so that we could try them out. And then, to make it, a little bit more romantic, I had, because I was borrowing my mom's car at the time.
Let me see a deep throat that burrito, baby.
No.
See how far you can take it.
As I'm over there licking a taco. Oh, my hell.
This could be you.
No. So, I borrowed my mom's car. I'd even made a mixtape, to put in there. So then I'm like, well, we got to go somewhere kind of cool that we can overlook the whole city as we're eating our tacos. And so we went up to behind the old school district. I don't know. It's off of 12th and whatever.
School district.
Yeah, for the Ogden School District. Anyways, there's this part where it overlooks the entire city, and it was late at night, and I'm like, oh, this will be way super romantic and kind of chill. So we were sitting there listening to music, eating tacos, and just talking, and
now this is you are eating actual tacos.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So Yeah, we were talked for a couple of hours, and that mixtape, I don't know what it was or whatever, but like I even had like a side B on it that I flipped it over to.
It was a
And
cassette?
or was a cassette,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
Awesome.
Yeah. Um so we were listening to it, and then like all of a sudden it just like stopped, and like, well, that's really odd. The car died. I'm like, oh, damn. All right. So we were just kind of like sitting there for a minute, and like my phone, like I had a little flip phone.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, should we call somebody or something? And all of a sudden, lights come on behind us. Like, yeah, cop. Like he's like showed up out of the blue and flipped on his like spotlight, and he's like shining it around. He's like, step out of the vehicle. I'm like, oh shit, all right. So this is the first date too.
Like, shut up, I'm eating tacos in here.
Right? Put your clothes on.
Yeah.
No. So I get out, and like we talked to him for a minute. I'm like, dude, like legit, our car is completely dead, and I tried starting it, and it didn't work. And he's just like, oh yeah, sure, okay, yeah, whatever. Like he didn't believe me,
Right,
and he was
right,
kind of
of
like being
course,
this like
of course.
macho cop, and I'm like,
Right,
oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
hell.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm serious. Like I could really use like a jump here. And then he's just like, go ahead and like give it a try. I'm like, all right, but it's dead. I turn it. I shit you not. It fucking starts.
It started.
Yeah, it starts. And he's just like, all right, yeah.
Of course it did.
I'm gonna let you off with like just a warning here, you know.
Of course it did.
Yeah. And so then drove off, dropped her off, you know. Yeah, no, needless to say, well, it's really kind of funny because like after I dated her, my best friend at the time, he dated her, eventually like married her. But the funny part about it,
Okay.
yeah, he was dating the older sister at the time,
I know what you're talking
broke up
about.
with her.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
married the younger sister, the
Yep.
cuter sister, and then yeah, now they've got like 5 or 6 kids. I don't know, 7 or something.
Yeah, well, I think they're
One-
Mormon, right? So
one
it makes
one
sense.
right after another too. Like no time like between. Like they're all like at once
Looking
one
on
a
the
year.
calendar, like, okay, it's the time. It's the time.
Yeah. Today we can finally, go back at it.
Is everything all fixed down there? You back to normal?
I have another story about that, but I'll save that for a later date. But yeah, that was my one and only date.
All right.
With her, that was like, yeah. it was
I've
awkward.
also had the cops involved on a date before.
Really?
Yeah. First time, I think I may have told this before, but first time I ever went on a date with this girl, and I got pulled over. First time I ever got pulled over.
Yeah.
And I've been pulled over a lot since then.
Right.
Before, I was terrified. Like, oh no, what am I going to do? What am I going to
Turn
do?
down the volume of the music.
Yeah,
Like, put
yeah.
your hand, like your hands are on the steering wheel, white knuckling that
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, for sure.
And the cop kind of did the same thing. It was kind of this macho play because, I didn't know the procedure at the time. So his lights turned on. I'm like, I was so confused. Like, what's going on? What's going on? I didn't hit the blinker right away. And
Yeah.
so he cited me for failing to yield to a police officer.
What?
Yeah. I
Huh.
told him, like, I've never been pulled over before. It's my first time.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
Wow. I've gotten pulled over a couple of times. Like the last time I got pulled over was I've only been pulled over one time with my car, which I'm really surprised about. But like it was in California of all places, and
Yeah.
everybody was going like 90 miles an hour, and I was going with the flow of traffic, and then he saw that I had a Utah plate, so it pulls me over, gives me a ticket, and yeah, asshole. But
Yeah, now getting pulled over for me is just an inconvenience.
right,
It's like, oh, for God's sake, come on, let's just get this over.
right.
It's like, yeah, take it, blah, 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 blah. Let's go. I got places to be.
People to see. Come on,
Exactly.
time is money.
Okay. Anyway, I was just curious.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, so let's get to today in geek history.
Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
Today in geek history.
So I know that we do have an ABD day.
Yes.
But I did have to bring this up because I thought it was really cool that it happened to fall on March 2nd, which is today.
Mm-hmm.
Theodore Seuss, or Teddy,
Oh, yes.
also known as Dr. Seuss,
Theodore Geisel.
right?
Yep.
He was born March 2nd, 1904.
Favorite Dr. Seuss book?
Oh, The Places You'll Go?
Yes.
Or The Places You'll Go, whatever it's called.
I
That
think
one's a
The
really great one.
Grinch Stole Christmas for me. I think
Really?
That's my favorite, yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, no, I really do like that. What's the one with the oobleck that falls from the sky?
Oh, yeah. What was that one?
That one's great. Where like it first starts out as like golf balls, and then it goes to baseballs, and then basketballs, and keeps getting bigger and bigger. And
Bartholomew and the Oobleck.
that's a great one.
Yeah,
That's a lot of. If I had to pick us like a runner up, that would definitely be it. He's written so many of them. It's ridiculous. He's created like his own world, and like his family is just keeping it alive through different like movies and different forms. But what a legend!
There's actually a thing right now going on in the South. I don't remember where it was, but they're trying to get Dr. Seuss books banned.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because they claim he's a racist, anti-Semite, blah blah blah, and they're like citing things from his books.
Probably taking it out of context.
Probably.
Like, look, this could be skewed as like racial, like, or I don't know. That's really weird.
Let me hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just 7 hours ago, actually. 6 Dr. Seuss books will be discontinued because of racist and insensitive imagery. So,
which ones made the cut, or which ones like are on the list?
Which ones made the cut? Hang on. See, this is the problem with a lot of these news articles is they're so wordy. They just don't get right to it.
Oh, yeah, it's clickbait for sure.
Yeah. 6 Dr. Seuss books, including And to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street and If I Ran a Zoo, will stop being published because of racist and insensitive imagery. The business that preserves and protects the author's legacy said Tuesday. These books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong, Dr. Seuss Enterprises told the Associated Press in a statement that coincided with the late author and illustrator's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Ceasing sales of these books is only part of our commitment and broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss Enterprises catalog represents and supports all communities and families. Okay, look. I consider myself a very liberal person.
Right.
I'm about as far left as you can get.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and I'm all about, equality and inclusion and representing people, and there are things out there that I think should be taken away because
they're kind of insensitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To put it mildly.
Yeah. Yeah. But at the same time, censoring art
and literature
really irritates me.
Yes.
Because look, Mark Twain, his books have literally the N-word in them.
Right.
And as far as I know, hasn't been banned.
Right.
And so, is Mark Twain better than Dr. Seuss? And then you start into that discussion. And then if you open the door for that, then you're opening the door for censoring a lot of other things, like paintings, for example, that depict nude people, or censoring the Statue of David, or it'll
escalate for sure.
Yeah, escalate and snowball.
Yeah. What literature is there any literature out there that needs to be banned, or
in my opinion,
Mein Kampf?
Well, except for that one. Yeah.
Well, it's still kind of an interesting read.
Is it? I wouldn't know. I haven't read it.
I've read some of it. I've also read the Doctors from Hell on these different experiments that they did during that time that he let them get away with. Night. I've read I don't know. I find it fascinating. Just the whole.
No, I mean the history of the Nazi Party, yes, is fascinating.
Right.
And so I think books that talk about the war crimes that they did, should absolutely still stay, and so people can learn from that. Mein Kampf, on the other hand, maybe not so much. I think you could probably toss that one out. But I mean, yeah, it's just
It's a slippery slope
It is
once
a
you
slippery
start getting into the art and what you can censor and freedom of speech and freedom. You know, you start.
yeah, and I think cancel culture kind of goes too far a lot of the time. Like
Yeah,
this whole Mr. Potato Head thing.
yeah. Oh man,
Yeah, it's like
Mr. Person Potato, Mr.
I
Person
think he's
Kid.
just gonna be called Potato Head, and at the same time, it's like people getting all up in arms and everything, but at the same time, it's like he's a potato. It's just a potato.
Yeah.
Are potatoes supposed to have genders? Are you mad that this potato no longer has a gender? It's like it's just
Well, and you can like put
relax.
any type of thing you want on Mr. Potato, right?
Yeah,
You could, make a trans one or a girl one or
sure.
like Mrs. They already do have a Mrs. Potato, right? You could
They do.
intermingle, mix and
Sure.
match, right?
You can have a transitioning potato head. Why not? And besides, where does Mr. Potato Head keep all of his accessories? Up his
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah. And that's right where you can put your your argument with Mr. Potato. Yeah, I'd love to see things from your point of view, but I don't think I can get my head that far up my ass.
that's a good line.
Right?
I like it.
Okay, going back.
Oh,
to,
yeah.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
back to Dr.
yeah.
Seuss.
This week in Geek, or actually, sorry, today in Geek history, The Sound of Music was released March 2nd, 1965. Speaking of, Nazis. and
Nazis,
whatnot.
yeah. See, it all ties together.
We went full circle there.
Have you ever watched The Sound of Music?
In reverse.
No.
As they go into no. Actually, okay, with The Sound of Music, where they leave over the Alps,
Yeah.
they're actually going into the heart of Germany.
I've heard that.
Yeah. And,
It's like,
okay.
going the other way. Going the wrong way there, guys.
Wrong way. Yeah.
I was going to ask, have you ever seen The Sound of Music, like, out of school? Because that was the only time I ever watched it.
Oh, I own it
Do
on
ya?
DVD. Yeah.
Of course you do. Shouldn't be surprised.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty decent. I like I hit or miss with like musicals, but that one I own
I've
it.
never sat down and been like, I think I'm going to watch The Sound of Music today.
I was kind
I've
of on
never
a
done
kick of like with Casablanca and that one and like some of these other like classic ones. I was
You
just like
really like Nazis, don't you? We're really
I'm
peeling
fascinated.
back some layers here.
I'm fascinated by the whole thing. World War II was probably like my this is
Your
horrible.
favorite war.
I
You're
was
going to
just about
say
to,
your
I was
favorite
just about
war.
to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not historically speaking, there's the most about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I find it fascinating.
No, I agree. It is fascinating.
The original King Kong movie has its world premiere in New York City on 1933.
Oh.
And last but
Okay.
not least, Space Pioneer 10 was shot from Florida into space, and this was a mission to go to Jupiter, and we
Mhm.
got our first like close-up images of that gassy planet.
Right.
Which was pretty fascinating if you go back and look at those pictures. And it's crazy even today, like looking at the photos that they have from Mars.
Yeah.
Man, it's like night and day compared to what we can do now.
Yeah, it's amazing. I talked about that on Facebook a few days ago. It's like you can literally open your phone and look up pictures of another planet.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Like on the ground pictures of another planet, of Mars. Like that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Think about if you were 8, 9, 10 years old and you went back, your future self went back to your past self and you're like, okay, check this out.
Dude, on your phone.
Like, what do you mean on your phone? Like, no, see, these landline phones will no longer exist.
My mom was telling me this story that when she was working at Eastern Airlines before it folded, somebody was just saying, "Oh yeah, I made reservations on my home computer," and like she remembers telling me that like she started laughing to one of her coworkers and like home computers, like that'll take off.
Home computer.
Yeah.
That'll never catch on.
That was like 40 years ago or something. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, now, Mom, you have more like...
You can literally get food delivered to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
From restaurants.
Right.
You don't even have to go to the restaurant anymore.
They're making it easier and easier for us to just stay indoors and never see anybody.
I'm all for it.
Like, this pandemic only like made me appreciate this more.
This pandemic has been great for us introverts.
Right?
Like, life
Video
hasn't changed
games,
much for
food.
us. Yeah,
You're set. You can just go order from Amazon toilet paper.
exactly.
Boom, you're set.
Now we have an excuse not to leave. Like, I'd love to come out with you, but, pandemic and everything. Can't do
Yeah,
it. Sorry.
I love using the pandemic sometimes. Well, I'll do it at work because like I'll have customers that come in when they go to pick up a new mattress or a new item, and I'm like, "Hey, sorry, because of COVID, we can't like handle those, but like there's a dumpster around back, and like you can like go throw
That's
your old
awesome.
mattress out there, and then
That's
like
awesome.
I'll put the new one in your vehicle." But yeah, it's just I totally use the pandemic as an
Sure.
excuse.
Why not?
I'm like, sorry, that's a large group there of people. I can't gather with you guys.
Sorry.
I'd love to, but like, man, that's over 8. Pandemic.
COVID. That's all I
What you
gotta
gonna
say.
do?
COVID.
Yeah,
All right. You have anything else? Is that it?
that was it.
Okay. Then let's get to This Week in Geek.
This weekend.
Geek.
So, I thought this was kind of interesting. There's a new, or is going to be a new retelling of the Robin Hood story. It's going to be in comic form. And it says, in a twisted medieval noir retelling of the Robin Hood stories, the Sheriff of Nottingham hunts a serial killer who targets tax collectors in the aptly titled upcoming series, Nottingham. This investigation puts a bullseye on the sheriff's back from some of England's most nefarious power brokers, a group of individuals known as the quote-unquote Merry Men, who are led by a man known only as Hood.
Okay.
And nothing is going to get in their way of robbing the kingdom's wealthiest people.
It's like he already treads a pretty thin line, right, as being a good guy.
Yeah, he
Robbing.
works in the gray,
Right.
for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So I think this lends itself well, and I love that it's in like comic book form as well.
Yeah.
That's it. It works perfectly. I'm totally for this.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting. Let's see. With Nottingham #1 of 5 going on sale March 3rd, literally tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can go and pick that up. They do an interview in the story with like the creator and everything and blah blah blah. But you should know that it looks very violent.
Mm.
It's a very dark version of Robin Hood.
Right.
And I think Robin Hood is public domain, so you can use that character all you want.
Are there any other characters that you'd like to see go to the dark side?
Have kind of a retelling type of a thing.
Yeah.
I
I mean, it's been done with like some of the bigs, like even with like Superman. And even Batman has crossed the line.
I think you could do an interesting kind of Game of Thrones version with like King Arthur.
Okay.
I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Where he's way more greedy than...
Yeah, where he's kind of a corrupt king, and maybe his Knights of the Round Table weren't so chivalrous.
Right.
You could do something like that.
Okay. Any other like superheroes that you'd like to see dip their toe?
They've pretty much done them all at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Have they gone the opposite as well?
Made like villains good.
Right, because I know that they've had like Lex Luthor that's done that, but at the same time he's got a nefarious underlying reason for doing it.
Yeah, they did a recent story where Joker had been completely reformed.
Yeah.
And he was now working with the police to go after Batman. Like that was a recent story they did.
Okay.
Yeah, like in the comic book world, they've pretty much done they've done all those stories.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to find anything that they haven't.
Yeah, I think that's why they're doing like characters with like as like Robin Hood, because like I said, those are public domain, and
By all means, use
you can
them.
use them. And I don't think Robin Hood has been really portrayed as a villain that often. So
No. Only to, the king and to the guys that are getting robbed. They
right,
kind of
right.
see him as a villain.
But then again, Prince John, he's a pretty corrupt individual anyway. So
So do you have, like, in this comic book, would you have Prince John be a good
be a
guy?
good guy.
Yeah.
I don't
Or do you
think you
still
could
have
have
him?
him. I think you'd have him just be a king,
Mm-hmm.
or I guess it'd be a prince.
Right.
Not really good or bad, but just he's just in charge. He's just royalty,
Yeah.
just there.
Okay.
He was always the least interesting character to me anyway. So
Yeah.
Prince John.
Didn't really have much depth.
Mm.
Kind
By the
of a
way,
one note.
I recently watched Men in Tights, Robin Hood Men in Tights,
Yeah.
and it doesn't hold up.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Even some of the jokes?
Mm-mm. It doesn't hold up.
That's disheartening.
Yeah.
Because, like, as a kid, I remember laughing so hard at
Yeah.
some
Oh
of those
yeah.
scenes.
Me too.
Right?
I'm watching it now. I'm just like cringing. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's not as good as I remember.
Okay, so Tom Holland says that Spider-Man No Way Home it completes his current contract, but if they want him back, he's more than happy to help out. In an interview about Spider-Man 3, he had this to say: "Would be my last under contract, so I've always said that if they want me back, I'll be there in a heartbeat. I've loved every minute of being part of this amazing world. It's changed my life for the best. I'm so lucky to be here. If they want me back, I'll be there. If they don't, I'll walk off into the sunset a very, very happy person because it has been an amazing journey." This this franchise for him made him into a star.
Yeah.
I mean, it's launched his career to where now he's doing like so many other movies, and
Yes.
this kid's set up for life. Although, is he too old to keep playing Spider-Man?
No.
And kind of like, because you've seen him in other roles, and then does he just go back to being like a little like kid, or do you have him like
No, age him
the
up.
college years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Age him up. See I think that's why it was good that they cast him so young,
Yeah.
because he can just the character can just age with him.
Right. Yeah. Would you like to see him within the college years, perhaps with like a new love interest?
Sure.
You know?
Have they introduced? They haven't introduced Gwen Stacy.
No. Right? Ooh, that could be awesome.
Have Gwen Stacy in there.
Right? Who would you have as like the villains?
Yeah, so many. I mean, you got the Rhino, you got Sandman, you got Electro, you got Morbius, you got
You throw some of
Venom,
those.
Carnage, Vulture. Well, they already did Vulture. Where's some other? I'm blanking on my Spider-Man villains now. Dr. Octopus. Bring him into the MCU.
Right. Similar to what they did with the video game franchise. They brought Doc Ock back into the picture
Yeah.
as kind of like a professor.
Yeah.
Right? That he's mentoring him, and then he kind of has that corrupt moment where...
Or the Lizard. Do the Lizard again. Or do Chameleon. Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Who'd you like to see?
Cool villain, the Chameleon.
Who'd you like to see play the chameleon?
Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Well, I think you'd need somebody who could...
Who has the ability to be able to flip it.
Yes.
Like, to go from one spectrum to the complete opposite, like, on a dime.
And who could do impersonations, or who who could do different voices or stuff like that. I think Jim Carrey would be pretty good at that.
Oh, yeah. He's kind of like, I don't know, he's in that stage where he's kind of Mel Gibson-ish, Shia LaBeouf. You know what I mean? Like, where he's a little bit out there, but like
He's a little crazy.
Yeah.
He's a little crazy.
Right? But like, that lends itself well to this character.
See, I picture him like, okay, you could have it be kind of a dark, like he kind of goes on a killing spree. And so Spider-Man's chasing him. You see him like in full get up. You see him go down dark alley. He hurries, takes off this stuff. Spider-Man comes up to him, and he's a completely different person. And he's like freaking out. He's like, oh, he went down there. He went down that way. He went down that way.
Yeah.
But he's so good as an actor that the spider sense doesn't go off with Spider-Man.
Ooh.
So he could escape the spider sense.
Yeah.
And so you see Tom Holland chase off after him, and you see Carrey just kind of smile and walk away.
That's like beating a lie detector test,
Mhm.
but like on a whole nother level. Yeah.
I think it'd be cool. I think
that could be awesome.
some possibilities.
He just like blends into the crowd and everybody else.
You just see him walk away in the crowd.
Yeah. Huh.
Because he's a chameleon. He can do that.
I like it.
I like it too.
Right? Why aren't we writing these things?
Exactly. Call us, Hollywood.
Yes. If you sign him back, you got to sign us.
Exactly.
It's kind of a what is that kind of a deal called?
Package deal?
Package deal. Yeah. If you want Tom, you got to take us.
Of course they'll have him back.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
not going to just let him go.
No, they're going to milk that cow for all it's worth. Milk that spider.
He'll renegotiate his contract and he'll be back.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if he has any success with... Man, he'd be set. Like, doing Nathan Drake and also Spider-Man. Jeez. So much damn money.
Well, and plus the other movies he's doing, like his more serious stuff, he's really good in those.
Right.
Unlike Daniel Radcliffe, who takes...
interesting roles. Well, he's got that Harry Potter money, so he doesn't have to worry.
He does.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland's got that MCU money. He doesn't have to worry.
But don't you shit on him, because I actually like Daniel Radcliffe, some of his movies that he does. Not Swiss Army... Okay, you've only seen Swiss Army Man, right?
I've seen... Not only. I've seen a lot of his films.
Woman in Black?
Yes.
Okay, have you also seen The Jungle?
Ooh. Did I see The Jungle?
No.
See The Jungle.
You know which one you need to see? He plays a cop that goes undercover as a skinhead.
Yeah.
What is it called? But it's really dark, and he gets put into some like crazy situations.
Well, the reason I bring him up,
yes,
is because I can only kind of see Harry Potter when he's on screen.
Really?
Yeah, and with Tom Holland, I think Tom Holland's face lends itself. Like Tom Holland, it's not like you look at him like, oh, there's Spider-Man, you know?
Right.
But with like Daniel Radcliffe, it's like, oh, it's Harry Potter, and it's just what I see. And I don't think Daniel Radcliffe's that great of an actor, but that's just me. Just me. It's just my opinion.
You shut your dirty mouth.
It's just my opinion.
It's a wrong opinion.
Miriam. Okay.
Yeah, no, but he's like in the middle of this crowd and has to like put on a front, and it's a really good role for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think he's just a little one note. That's all.
You can have an opinion, even if it's wrong.
Like, oh, look how dark I can be. Like, well, I'm playing this gritty role.
Yeah.
I'm not Harry Potter anymore.
I've shed that. And then he's just like,
I'm a serious actor.
A couple years down the road, he's
promise.
just like, sure, yeah, I'll come back and play, Harry's father, or like my kid's father.
But a guy who is no argument is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Frasier revival with Kelsey Grammer set at Paramount Plus. I've been thinking instead of DLC, we should start calling it World War G Plus.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Because it's all plus, right?
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. I'm thinking that's what we should have named our Patreon. World War G Plus.
I like it.
I like it too. Anyway, the Frasier revival has officially been ordered at Paramount Plus. Original series star Kelsey Grammer will return in the title role in addition to executive producing. Chris Harris and Joe Cristaldi will serve as writers and executive producers, with Grammett Productions, Tom Russo, and blah, 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 blah. You don't need blah, blah, blah. This is what he said about it. Having spent over 20 years of my creative life on the Paramount lot. Actually, who is this talking? Oh, I thought that was grammar. Never mind. I don't care. But yeah, it's coming back. Frasier remains one of the most successful sitcoms of all times, having won 37 Emmys over the course of its 11 seasons and 264 episodes on NBC.
Are they bringing the whole family that's still alive back?
The series also starred David Hyde Pierce, Jane Leeves, and Perry Gilpin, none of whom are currently attached to the revival, and I think if they don't, that's a mistake.
That's a huge mistake, absolutely. But he's kind of like a Dr. Phil character, and I feel like he could stand on his own at the same time. I know it would be a mistake, but he could tackle some like pretty heavy issues.
He could, but I think part of the charm was he was the straight man to these other characters, to his brother and to Daphne and to his dad, who couldn't have him because John Mahoney died. But I think you need to bring them back.
Okay. Because they do play well off of each other.
They do.
Yeah.
At least bring back Niles.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Niles, after a while, became even more popular than Frasier.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as the TV show goes, or as a character?
As a character.
Okay.
I think that character became more popular than Frasier.
Just his like interesting quirks that he always has, and him finally getting the girl of his dreams. Do you bring back Meredith as well?
Yeah.
And their son would be like in college now, or they could throw him like an older kid.
Mm-hmm. See, I think what'd be kind of funny is you have Frasier maybe like move in with his son. So now it's the opposite.
Right.
Because his dad moved in with him.
Right.
And now you have Frasier moving in with his son.
Okay. Because
of
because of a nasty divorce or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so maybe Frasier is now the old grumpy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have his son is the one that's exasperated by him all the time.
Do you have his son? Do you still have Frasier? Would he be on a podcast now?
See, that's what I was thinking. He could do that.
Yeah. He's now podcasting and like staying with the current trends.
Yeah. Or he could do a Dr. Phil thing and have like a TV show.
Okay.
Or like a talk show, or
don't bring back the bull. He was annoying. No.
Or Bulldog?
Bulldog, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bulldog was annoying. You couldn't bring back Bulldog in this day and age.
No. Trying to, no.
He was way too, like...
raunchy?
Yeah, well, he was very sexist and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't fly.
No, it wouldn't fly today. But I think, well, yeah, you'd have to do a podcast, right? That'd just be...
That's the only thing you could do, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because then he could do it from his home. So, like, one of the episodes could be him just in his boxers.
Right.
You know, and then he doesn't realize that he's, like, live streaming it.
Right.
And his son's just like, Dad, like, you know.
Yeah, his son could kind of be the producer because, like, the tech, send the younger kids know all the, the tech stuff. You could have him doing, like, TikToks and stuff. That would be funny.
Oh, yeah.
Frasier doing TikToks, that would be funny.
I would watch that.
Comedy gold right there. And you can even have it bring it into the real world where you could have Kelsey Grammer as Frasier do these TikToks, like, live.
Right. Oh, I like it. You'd get so many followers.
You would. Absolutely.
Troy might actually like sign up for TikTok just for that.
Let's not go crazy.
Like not no.
Let's not go crazy. I did download TikTok for a hot second.
Really?
Yes.
Was this like in a drunk stupor at like 3 a.m?
No.
Okay.
You see, okay. The GF sends me so many TikToks.
Yeah.
Well, she used to. She's kind of gotten back into it.
Okay.
Like, I would wake up sometimes and I would have like 7 or 8 TikToks.
Oh, wow.
And she expected me to watch all of them.
Yeah, because you had to comment on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and so I did download it and I did sign up to see like some artists on there have TikToks, and that's what I was watching, and
It's a slippery slope. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
well,
Wait, you actually like deleted it as well?
I deleted it. I don't have it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just recently, as of yesterday, Milla Jovovich, she wanted to go on record, and she kind of came out and started defending Monster Hunter and her decisions as an actor that she made in this role.
Mm-hmm.
So she plays a U.S. Army Ranger.
Artemis.
And what?
Artemis. That's her
Yes.
name.
Yeah. And she went on saying that like she wanted people to experience the game for the first time like she did. And that's why she kind of like that's why they chose because they broke away. That's not even part of the lore or the legend, but she gets thrown into this. So she wanted her character to experience the world like everybody else was experiencing. She also said that she argued quite a bit with a lot of the people that were saying like, oh hey, you should do these type of moves, the choreography people.
Yeah.
She argued with them and said, no, as a military individual, I would do more rigid kind of movements like this. And I wouldn't sweep the leg so much. And I don't know, she was arguing about that and just saying, like, how much she enjoyed the project, and it wasn't until her husband, who's the director, said like, hey, you should check this out, and he's been kind of like sleeping on this project for about 10 years and a huge fan of it, that she's just like, all right. So then she played it and she fell in love with the game, and I'm like, you don't feel like she doesn't feel like a fan at all, and she's already ruined Resident Evil. And I get that you can like separate them, and there's the Resident Evil games and there's the Resident Evil movies, and they can be like two completely different things, and it's their interpretation of it. But like that aside, the movies themselves are garbage.
They are.
Yeah, and
this movie is garbage.
right.
This movie fucking sucks.
uh,
So, no. There's no, I'm sorry, Mila, there's no defending this film. It was bad. It was bad.
And I feel like, as an actor, okay, occasionally you're going to take on projects that, yeah, you feel passionate about, or you kind of get in the hype, and as they pitch it to you, you're like, yeah, I could see myself doing this. Yeah, this sounds like a lot of fun. And you might do like a garbage movie, but just let that one like slide and try to like move on to something else, right? I don't feel like you should go back and kind of like try to defend your choices with a movie.
No.
Like just let it die, you know?
Just
And
let it live or die.
Yeah.
But don't try to be like, oh, well, as an actress, I really felt this character was important to portray, and
Yeah.
no. And it sounds like she was an asshole to this choreographer.
Yeah. And to the whole team. She kind of and she could get away with it because her husband's the director.
The director.
Yeah.
It's like I think she thinks she's a lot bigger than she actually is.
Have you seen any of her other movies?
I have. I've seen a bunch of her movies, and she sucks in every one. She's not good. She's not a great actress.
How many of them are directed by her husband?
A lot of them.
Really?
Yeah. Not a whole lot of people will cast her except for her husband.
I'm pulling up her IMDb here. So you got Resident Evil, The Fifth Element, Monster Hunter, more Resident Evil movies. Oh, she was in the new Hellboy.
Yeah,
Three Musketeers.
There you go.
The Messenger.
Crap.
Was she in anything good?
Stone?
That one had De Niro in it. I don't believe I've seen that one. Chaplin. He Got Game, where she's actually the star.
Oh, let's
Face in
see.
the Crowd.
Let's see. See, she kind of did this whole thing that Liam Neeson is doing, where she started out as kind of this more serious actress, and then she kind of fell into this action movie thing,
Right.
and that's kind of now her bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is she's just not good at it. Yeah, like Monster Hunter, no good.
Ultraviolet.
Hellboy, no good. Yeah, the Resident Evil movies, no. Zoolander 2, no.
Perfect Getaway.
Survivor, like what the heck that is.
Yeah.
Resident Evil again. Blah, blah.
There has been a lot, like in this, like we brought this up on the podcast. There has been a lot of like celebrities that have kind of just slipped through the cracks, or we thought like, oh hey, they might be talented. Oh hey, no, they're not. But then they still keep making movies.
Yeah. Yeah, she just. Yeah, she's not. She's just not a good actress. I'm sorry, she's not.
Yeah.
She is a B movie actress, and that's what she gets cast in. Are these stupid B movie action films? Yeah, no. I mean, on the other hand, good for her. She found her little niche, and she's kind of sticking with it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, know that they're not that good of movies.
Go in knowing that you're not gonna get like a high quality.
They're just they're just not.
And we're not just like, I would bash on anyone that's not like a talented actor.
Sure.
You know, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I mean, hey, go out, get your paychecks, and get
Make that
paid.
money.
Great.
Yeah.
But don't be that actress that's like, well, I think my character in this wouldn't fight this way, and at some point, her director husband's got to be should pull her aside and like, Milla, we're not making Citizen Kane here.
Yeah.
Right? This is Monster Hunter.
Right.
It's you fighting big monsters.
What kind of role, like, if you were to like cast her in anything, what kind of a role do you think that she could actually do well?
Extra in the background.
Voice acting?
Why you gotta pick on voice acting like that?
I'm just saying, like, then she's behind the camera, basically. She's not really, like, I don't know. One of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies is The Croods, dude. Like, I'm just saying. Because he's not in it, but he lends his voice to it.
Well, plus I think with voice acting, I think you get a lot of... You can get a lot of takes of certain lines.
Right.
And so you can kind of comb through and be like, okay, let's pick that one.
Mm-hmm.
Thrown in voice acting like it's the bottom of the barrel choice.
Lesser form of art.
How dare you?
As Troy says in like a different voice or something. You, sir! Like, how dare you?
Okay. Let's get to our Revs and Recs.
So this week, because I'm borrowing like one of my friends their HBO, like Max or their HBO account.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do it for the podcast, and I couldn't justify watching it on my own time, so I waited until work to watch the movie.
Sure.
Because then I'd be getting paid to watch the movie.
Right.
So it made me feel a little bit better that I was getting paid to watch the movie. Because I knew going in it wasn't going to be very great. I was thinking it was going to be on par with like Yogi Bear and some of those other like horrible ones. It was a little bit more in the range of Sonic, but then it kind of fell apart. Okay, so let me pull this up here.
You haven't said the title of the movie yet.
Oh, Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't?
No, you didn't say it. I was waiting.
You're like, okay. Tom and Jerry. This movie stars Chloe Grace Moretz, Colin Yost is how he pronounced it.
Right. Mr. Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
Which really just, I don't get that. Anyway.
Right? That's an odd pair.
It is.
And then Michael Pena. And so Chloe, she plays this girl, Kayla, and she finds herself at a hotel where she steals somebody's resume and lands a job working there. She's kind of like down on her luck, and this is a last ditch effort to make herself to make something of herself in New York City. She is there at the perfect time during this where Colin, he plays Ben, who's getting married. And he's kind of this over-the-top, eccentric billionaire that just like throws all this money at this wedding, and he doesn't listen to his bride like at all. He just kind of like pushes her aside and is like, "No, we need elephants." At our wedding, and we need this and like peacocks, and like just goes way super over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Michael, who's kind of like the hotel manager, and he's asked to kind of like fill in there, but he's kind of the antagonist throughout the whole entire movie. The wedding gets canceled, and then they have to save the day and bring it back all together. You've got Tom and Jerry, so Tom is kind of like a street performer, and Jerry is trying to find a place to live. So Jerry manages to get into the hotel and starts living there, while Tom, because his piano got broken by Jerry, decides to sneak into the hotel, and then he ends up landing himself a job there to catch the mouse. So Tom starts working at the hotel with a name badge and a hat and everything.
Sure.
The one thing that I did like that I thought was kind of interesting is all of the animals in this movie, they are all cartoon. They are all animated. And like everybody interacts with them as if it's normal. Like that's just normal,
Sure.
right?
Why not?
Chloe, she definitely gave it her all, and she actually like tried. I'm trying to find like positive things
She
here to
was
say.
really trying.
She honestly was like, but she had to be the voice for Tom and Jerry the majority of the time, as they would,
Right,
point out
because
stuff.
Tom and Jerry, they never speak.
Tom actually does sing a song,
For
which is
God's sake.
weird. It's a weird, interesting choice.
Well, Tom, I'll take that back. Tom has sung before in old cartoons.
Right.
But I think that's the only time that any sound ever comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
when
Otherwise,
he's
it's
singing.
just
Yeah.
kind of noises. This movie was a hot mess. I'm sure kids will really enjoy it, but it was complete garbage, and I honestly feel like the bride shouldn't have married Ben, Colin, at all. Like he was a complete tool the entire time, and then he like apologized. Actually, Chloe does the apologizing for him, and she's just like, "Hey, we kind of like messed up here at the hotel, but we wanted to make it up to you." And like I was faking, it's a hot mess, and
Sounds like it.
it's horrible. Out of 5 rings, I would give this movie a 1. I was gonna be at like a 2, and I'm like, okay, there's some redeeming qualities about it, but then like when you actually get to the wedding, and there's a lion, and there's so many different animals, and it's garbage. Don't waste your time.
Well, I wasn't planning on it.
Yeah. But for the sake of the podcast, I felt it was my patriotic duty.
Your civic duty.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you took that bullet for us.
Thank you.
Yeah. No.
You, on the other hand, said that you saw a really good movie.
I saw a great movie.
Yeah.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Okay.
Let me read you the synopsis here. Bill O'Neill infiltrates the Black Panther Party per FBI agent Mitchell and J. Edgar Hoover. As party chairman Fred Hampton ascends, falling for a fellow revolutionary en route, a battle rages for O'Neill's soul.
Because he starts like sympathizing from them and actually like joins the cause.
Mm-hmm.
Like initially he like went in there like to infiltrate them.
First of all, know that this is based on a true story.
Yeah.
And it was a movie that right after I saw it in West Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And so on my way home, I queued up a documentary about it and just listened to that on the way back
Okay.
because I wanted to know more.
Yeah.
So this movie stars Daniel Kaluuya, who you'll know from Get Out.
Right.
He stars as Fred Hampton. Lakeith Stanfield stars as Bill O'Neill. Jesse Plemons, who you'll know from Breaking Bad, who I call Fat Damon,
Yeah. Okay.
because he looks like a fat Matt Damon. Stars as FBI agent Roy Mitchell. Dominique Fishback stars as Deborah Johnson. And then a bunch of other people you've never heard of. Actually, no. Martin Sheen actually plays J. Edgar Hoover. Then a bunch of other people. Yeah, this movie is really good. So basically, it starts off with this guy, Bill O'Neill, impersonating an FBI officer or agent, and he does that in order to steal cars. So
Okay.
it's actually kind of genius. What he does, he goes into a place, flashes this fake badge that he has, picks a guy and says, "Your car has been reported as stolen,"
Okay.
takes him out, gets in their car, and drives off. Steals
Oh wow.
their car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of genius, actually. And he does that because he says in the movie, people are more scared of a badge than they are of a gun.
Ooh, that's a good line.
Yeah. And so he gets caught by the police, and then this FBI guy comes in, and he asks him, what did you think of Martin Luther King's assassination? This takes place in like 1960, I want to say 68, 69, right in there.
Okay.
So he goes, what did you think of Martin Luther King's assassination? What did you think of Malcolm X's assassination? And
Just to gauge where he's at.
And he says, well, I never really thought about it before. I don't really have an opinion on it.
Yeah. Even though you're sure he does.
At the time, no, he doesn't.
Okay.
Because the FBI wants to, like you said, it wants to see.
Where
It sounds bad, but it wants to see how black is he, basically.
Right. Okay.
I mean, this is 1968, so.
Right.
So they recruit him to join the Black Panther Party in Chicago, led by this guy Fred Hampton, who's been making a lot of waves. He's having a lot of people join the cause. The white people are scared of the Black Panthers, even though they are pretty much, to put it in modern terms, they're like the BLM movement is now.
Okay.
They just want the black community to have
a voice.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But of course, the white people in government are scared of them because they see black people with guns and they're scared. So they send in this guy to go infiltrate them and basically report back everything that Fred Hampton is doing. And he works his way up, and he basically becomes his security chief, his security officer in charge. And then, like you said, all of a sudden he starts to believe in the cause. And he doesn't want to be part of the FBI. He doesn't want to be his informant anymore. But the FBI guy says, look, you either do this, or you're going to prison for impersonating an FBI agent. And that'll get you about 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So it's your choice.
Yeah.
So he's got to do it. And so that's where, the drama comes from, obviously, is...
What does he choose?
What does he choose? What side is he going to eventually fall... not fall for, but...
side with?
Side with.
Yeah.
And it's really good, because at the same time, you get Daniel Kaluuya as Fred Hampton, and you see what kind of speaker this guy was, that he could get anybody to his cause. There's this great scene where he goes into this southern redneck like revival that this redneck preacher's having.
Yeah.
And he comes in and within a matter of minutes, he's joined them to his cause.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
He goes to this other group of African Americans called the Crowns, who are kind of the Malcolm X to their MLK. He gets them to join up. He gets this Puerto Rican group to join up.
Yeah.
And he calls it this Rainbow Coalition.
Huh.
And they're gonna, take the power back, give the power to the people and take it away from the government. And it's fascinating to see this guy.
And I imagine it's pretty interesting because no matter what your background is, no matter what what you believe in at your heart, there are certain causes that you can both agree upon, right? A lot of the times those get pushed aside and they focus primarily just on the things that you don't agree on.
Yeah.
But
or they focus on race.
Exactly.
It's like our race versus them. Where no, but if you dig a little deeper, you have a lot of the same problems.
Exactly.
And that's what Fred Hampton was best at, was having them see we're not that different. Like we have common enemies here.
Yeah.
Like you guys have been treated just as bad by the police as we have, And it was just so fun and entertaining. Not fun. It's not. I wouldn't call it a fun movie. But
so here I love Nazis, and Troy's over here loving other stuff.
But it's just fascinating to see this slice of American life as it was at this time with the Black Panthers, with how they were seen by the FBI and by the government, and how they were seen by other people living in Chicago at the time. Because you would think that these African American groups would all be on the same side, but they weren't. And it's kind of fascinating.
They were kind of divided.
Yeah, they were divided.
Here, a lot of the times in our history, they kind of get all lumped together.
Yeah.
Not and they eventually all sided together, perhaps, but they were divided initially, right?
Yeah. And so it was just really interesting and fascinating to see that, because I didn't know that initially.
Right.
And I'd never heard of Fred Hampton. I didn't know his story. And so after the movie, like I said, I found this documentary on YouTube, and I had that playing through the car as I was driving home. And I've said it before, any movie that can do that can make me want to go and do more research, that's a sign of a good movie.
Oh yeah.
So if you are at all interested in that part or that time period in America, in American history, with the Black Panthers, with at the time where the FBI was so, no other way to put it, they were so racist.
Yeah.
That they saw the Black Panthers as a American terrorist group. That's what they labeled them as.
Oh, wow.
And that's not what they were.
No.
But it's just it's a great a fantastic film, and I feel bad that this film came out now, because I don't think a lot of people are going to see it. But I would say, if you're hearing my voice right now, I would say definitely go check it out. It's definitely worth a watch.
All right.
So out of 5, boy, out of 5 raised fists,
okay,
I would give it. Man, I'm going back and forth between 3.5 and 4. I think I gotta give it 4.
Okay,
gotta give it 4.
Nice.
Yeah, because I watched several interviews with people, like the actual people, while this was happening, and
let's say it was pretty dang factual.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
From what I could tell, there wasn't a lot of embellishment.
Mm.
Yeah. So definitely go check that out. Okay. But we may talk a little bit more about that in our DLC.
But exclusively just on Patreon.
Yeah. So again, if you're not signed up to our Patreon, go sign up for just $1 a month. You can hear all of our episodes. $3. You can hear 3 or 5 or 7, whatever. The other tiers you can hear are DLCs.
Yes.
Or anything else that we put out. So yeah, go do that if you haven't. Also, since it is March, we've just started March Movie Madness in April again.
Yes.
Throughout the entire month of March, we're getting all of our movie nominations. It's our annual bracket tournament.
Now, these are movies, like, even if you've nominated them before and you want to nominate them again, feel free to.
Yeah.
Yep. This is any movie that you enjoy and you love and you want to see compete.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Tell us, message us on any social media, any way that you can get a hold of us.
Yeah.
Send us your movie nominations. We've already had a few come through. Let me see how many we have currently. I have my spreadsheet here. We have 23 movies so far. But I want to get us to
a couple hundred.
Yeah, at least.
Right. We want this to be a very diverse list.
Yeah. Because after I gather up all the movies, I'll pass it to AJ to put the bracket together, and I want to make his job difficult.
Yes.
Oh,
a lot of the times it really is. Like, honestly, I'm just like, wow, like, how do you kind of pick and choose? And these are going to be like some crazy battles.
Yeah. And that's what we want. Like, the crazier, the weirder the pairings, like, the better.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, those make for some of the most interesting debates. I remember last year there was one that was like Mrs. Doubtfire versus like Jurassic Park or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really odd, and you're like, okay, nostalgia versus dinosaurs.
But then it's also like, okay, we got the kind of an action movie versus a comedy, and which one do you vote for?
Because you love them equally for different reasons.
Yeah.
It's Sophie's choice over here.
Yeah. So if you haven't, get on Facebook, head to our page, just type in March Movie Madness in April, you'll find it. You will have to be approved, so just ask. And
we've already added a couple more people.
We have, yeah. So there's that. I think that's pretty much everything for this episode.
Yeah.
For those of you on Podbean right now, you'll hear this entire episode. Like I said, head over to Patreon if you want to hear the rest. Yeah, so here's where you can find us. Head to patreon.com/worldwarg to hear the episodes, like I said, or worldwarg.podbean.com to hear our half-episodes, as I like to call them.
All right.
On social media, head to facebook.com/worldwarg. You can find our merchandise at tpublic.com.
Troy and I are both rocking something today.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my my Dare-inspired logo hoodie. And you have the
logo shirt.
The logo shirt. Just our logo. It's that gray, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the gray, yeah. Yeah, so head there, find those. You can also email us anytime.
Day or night.
At worldwargpod@gmail.com. I decided I'm probably not going to do the number anymore because nobody uses it. So what's the point? Alright, so this has been World War G. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends. And for those of you on Patreon, click over to our DLC starting right now. Did I say stay geeky, my friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just want to make sure I got that in.